For more than 30 years, the University of Scranton in Pennsylvania, United States, and Trnava University in Slovakia have shared a remarkable partnership built on mutual respect, friendship, and a common commitment to excellence in education, research, and public service. Over these 3 decades, the collaboration has brought together faculty members and students through academic exchanges, joint educational initiatives, research projects, publications, and lasting personal relationships. At the heart of this partnership has been Professor Daniel West. Through his vision and leadership, he initiated the collaboration during the USAID project that supported the development of health sciences and health management education at Trnava University. His dedication extended far beyond the original project, and even today, as Professor Emeritus of the University of Scranton, he continues to encourage and support his colleagues in sustaining this unique partnership and preserving its legacy for future generations. The conversation you are about to hear is part of an oral history project. Its purpose is to preserve Professor West's personal recollections and reflections on more than 3 decades of collaboration between our 2 universities. Beyond documenting historical events, this interview captures the experiences, values, and friendships that have shaped this enduring partnership. We hope that it will serve as a source of inspiration for future students, faculty members, and university leaders who will continue building bridges across countries, cultures, and generations. Dear Dan, Professor West, thank you very much for agreeing to share your memories with us. We want to document the memories of our cooperation over those years, and maybe to leave some future thoughts for the generations to come, to our students, and also to demonstrate how the collaboration could come up with really fruitful results for both sides. So in these terms, let me ask you the first question. Tell us about the very beginning of this cooperation. How did you learn about Trnava from Scranton, and how it all started?
It has a very interesting beginning, because this was a little time right after the Velvet Revolution, the independence from the former Soviet Union, and there was a major effort on the part of the United States Agency for International Development to work with the new emerging democracies coming out from under the Soviet Union. So there was basically a call for universities who had faculty who were interested in working in Central Eastern European countries. We were, because of our president at that time, Father Al Panushka, who had familiarity with what was then Czechoslovakia, now Czech and Slovak Republic.
And as far as I remember, Father Panushka had some relations, like family relations, to this area, not exactly maybe Slovakia, but the neighboring, the surrounding countries.
Yes, and he did. His family roots were in this region of the world, And he had come to a scientific conference that was held in Bratislava. Mm-hmm. So he was quite familiar when the name Bratislava came up, and was very supportive of our faculty getting involved. So that was the original thinking, and the other reason for getting involved too was that it was in the area of healthcare. And that was where our department at the university was involved in really developing global health management. So this became a time to be able to work
and in
together.
Parallel to your project, there was another project in Trnave University supported by via USAID.
Yes.
Yeah, so those two things went together nicely.
Very nicely.
So what was your most vivid memory from those times?
Well, when this was ultimately a partnership that involved three different organizations. It involved Trnave University and the faculty there. It involved the health management school. Dr. Vera Rusnáka was the director of that program. And then with Dr. Milan Mergash, who was in Mate Bell University, Faculty of Economics. And I think what was most to me was, how do you take three different entities in one country and sit together and try to look at a plan for ongoing education, especially when there had not been a lot of health management training.
Yeah. Those times Slovakia was early after the political changes, and as far as I remember this, it was not easy times for to involve people from United States, because politically there were limitations, and also socially, economically. So what do you think was the major obstacles you met with initiating the project?
Well, I think there were several in the beginning that we had to give a great deal of thought. Number one, this was to be a partnership. So basically it was one of balancing collaboration between everyone. Number two, one of the areas we had to look at was people professionally who have an understanding of English, so that we could communicate and develop things that we wanted to look at. I think the third was trying to identify a key point of coordination. As I said earlier, we had three programs, so how do you make sure it's done equally? Who's going to make decisions of where we'll meet the next time? Who's going to send faculty and students, and in what order? So it really took time to understand the leadership at all three agencies. You know?
How much of your management skills were required to convince people to come to Slovakia from the United States?
Well, yeah, this for us was a challenge, but there was a solution to it, which I really want to share. Initially, most people are not familiar with Central Eastern Europe. There's this more thinking about the UK and Spain and France and Western Europe, but not everyone is familiar with Central and Eastern European countries.
And especially Slovakia, a tiny part of something.
Right. So, immediately we began studying Slovakia. Its culture, where it was geographically, things about the country, the history of the country, so we had an understanding. of being able to work together. But interestingly, in Pennsylvania, northeastern Pennsylvania, we have the Slovak Heritage Society. Mm-hmm. And when they heard that our university was involved in Slovakia, we immediately received phone calls of people who had visited Slovakia, their families were from Slovakia, and they were more than willing to help. And that's where we learned about, Reverend Milan Mergash, the priest,
who has who worked and served in
northeastern
place in close to Scranton.
Yes, in the city of Wilkes-Barre,
and he has a tomb in the cemetery up there.
He does, and he was well known. He was well known not only as a priest, but this was a very brilliant man. He was an entomologist. He was an artist. He was like a horticulturalist. Very, very talented person. But we had to, in northeastern Pennsylvania, find people whose families were from Slovakia, and they were willing to help us.
Oh, very good. And yes, this is actually people. This is a basis for partnerships, not institutions. So what extent of partnerships with individual people did you develop over time?
Yeah, it became important to there were three principal people who were involved. We had Dr. Vera Rusnáka from the Health Management School. We had Dr. Vladimir Kečmery from Trnave University and Dr. Milan Mergash. We had to spend time together talking, really to kind of understand what I call local conditions here in Slovakia. And then there was also a need to understand what this partnership was supposed to work on and how we were going to do it. Now, the United States Agency for International Development had some ideas based on other projects that were ongoing and offered that, but really it took all four of us to sit down together and begin talking about what can we do, how are we going to do it, what are the time frames for doing it, how do we make sure that everyone has a voice in what we're trying to do. So that took some management skill on our side to make sure that we were developing a team. That's the word I'm looking for, developing a team.
So I think it's clear what were the benefits for the Trnava University in the times of building a faculty with a track in health and social issues. But what were the benefits for you and your faculty from this partnership?
That's an excellent question, because the idea was mutual sharing.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of things we needed that were helpful for us. The University of Scranton, being a Jesuit university, was interested in developing global programs, working outside of the U.S. This became an excellent opportunity. But there were very few people at the university that had any background in doing this. So this was a challenge, and our partners here in Slovakia were able to help us understand how to do that. Yeah. There was a learning curve.
So it was a bit bilaterally
absolutely
beneficial activity.
Right.
This is what is frequently being forgot, that both sides have a prospect from right. such cooperation.
Yeah,
and that's make it of a real value.
Yes, extremely important that it be bilateral.
Yeah, over those years, it's over 30 years now. What this partnership meant for you as a person?
For me, for me, it was a very important step in my personal life as well as my professional. Being here in Slovakia and working with faculty, it really opened the doors for research, for scholarship, for teaching, which is all important. The biggest thing was that it gave us this partnership in other parts of the world, which was so necessary for our university, because I was then able to come back and share this with my faculties at the university. Mm-hmm. And when people heard the excitement and the enthusiasm, and by the way, the first trips were really faculty from Slovakia coming to the University of Scranton. And they had opportunities to lecture and meet people. So there was excitement that was being developed. Yeah. And all of a sudden people wanted to know more about Slovakia, this partnership. And in fact, it did involve our faculty in management, our faculty in theology, our faculty in pedagogy, faculty in counseling. So nursing. And nursing, yeah. It just blossomed into things. So professionally, that was extremely rewarding.
Yeah. When you look back over those years with your current experiences and knowledge, what would you do differently?
Well, that's a very interesting question. In all honesty, I think what we did in the early years together was the right thing to do. I mean, getting to know one another, trusting one another, being able to publish things together, present at conferences, that was the right thing to do. In retrospect, sometimes I wasn't sure that our priorities maybe were where they should have been, given what we now know 20 years later. So maybe we should have looked at some additional data. Maybe we should have consulted with others as to which direction to move in. But again, there were lessons to be learned as a team. So that would be one. Personally, and what I would have done differently, I would have become more fluent in the Slovak language.
Yeah, I saw some data which says you need 2 years to learn English. You need 4 years to learn Slovak.
Yeah, but I wish. I do know a little, and I obviously understand more than I can speak. But that would be something that I would have done differently.
Yeah,
on a personal level.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So let's think a little bit about the future. I think that students in Slovakia are very different from those whom you met first time 30 years ago. That also the society developed, the culture different, language improved, but English language skills. What would you advise our students? Why it is so important to go abroad and be involved with global views on health and society and partnerships and collaboration and understanding of other nations, cultures, situations, and so on?
As you and I and others who work in global public health know, there are no borders when it comes to health. What's important are for, again, students here in Slovakia or Central Eastern Europe to understand that health is a human right for everyone. what's really important is to understand that there are a lot of very bright, creative, innovative people who are outside of our own countries, that the only way you have to be willing to reach out and to work with them to truly understand what can be learned. And in Slovakia here too, all of our partners understood quite clearly the importance of students having a reasonable command of the English language. Why? Because scientific conferences, the journals, how information was being disseminated, that was the international language.
Exactly.
And so if you're going to develop future people who understand healthcare, they need to be able to interact with the scientific community.
So, like the historical Trnava University has had Latin as a universal language for scientists, researchers, and students. Now it is English. Yeah. So without that, it is very hard to make progress in this work.
But I think I think you can see that now. That's a big difference between 20 years ago and now. Initially, it was limited to a few PhD students who understood English and had been encouraged to present. Now, I think there's a strong understanding of the English language, of communicating, of presenting outside of Slovakia. So it's all been good, positive growth.
And this is a basic condition to really stimulate this cooperation.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think for you as well as for me, being at the end of our professional careers, it's also a motivation to give it to our students.
It truly is, as you and I talked many times. What will be the next generation to carry the flag, if you will? To carry the energy that's needed, the motivation, the discipline that's needed to work globally in a global community, and yeah, I think that's true on both sides. Again, how do we do this?
Okay, so let me give you some final question.
Okay.
If you could leave one message for the students and faculty of Trnava University, present and future, what would you like them to remember?
I'd like them to remember that, we have the longest sustainable partnership under the history of the United States Agency for International Development. Yeah. And the reason why that happened was because people in the partnership, whose names I mentioned earlier, really wanted to work together, understood the importance. What I'd want them to remember is that the partnership model we developed, which we called the bridge model, by the way, it worked.
Yeah.
And it serves as an example. Trnava can use this as an example to expand its partnerships in Africa or Latin America or other regions of the world. It's the same with us. We have done a little bit more.
Could be repeated.
Yes.
Took as a model.
The model we took and replicated it in Tbilisi, Georgia, in Mexico, in Brazil, and it worked.
Yeah.
So I think we collectively can be very proud that there is this model, this experience that lives today, 30 years later.
Yeah. Dan, thank you very much for your memories and reflections, and for your friendship and trust. Let's see for the future, for our followers, how they would use the lessons from these experiences, from these activities, for their own benefit and careers and personal improvements. Thank you. Thank you very
before
much.
we conclude, I just want to say that one thing, that neither of us had figured out exactly how to get continued sustainability. Yeah. And here again, it's going to be, I think, in a partnership that we'll learn what is working best and how we might be able to do it. And we can use the existing framework to train some of our future leaders as to how they're going to do it. So here again, maybe we're not developing the nursing program or, working on a particular subject area, but maybe we're involved initially over the next several years developing the future talent together on both sides.
There is a lot of uncertainty in these types of projects and activities. But if you don't do anything, there is one certainty that you will achieve nothing. Exactly. That's for sure. And if you try, you may come up with such a wonderful results as these results of our partnerships are.
That you started with using the words trusting one another, communicating with one another. That takes a while to develop. But once it's developed, what becomes just some kind of a partnership becomes more meaningful, because it really becomes more of a friendship where you truly want to work together, you understand one another, you're able to work through difficulties. In spite of whatever geopolitical changes that are occurring, you have people that want to work together and understand the true value. Absolutely. So this is the gift that I've received in all my years of education, is really how rewarding it is to work with colleagues, not only here in Slovakia, because these partnerships grow. They morph into bigger pictures with other people, and so it expands continually, and opportunities present themselves. So I hope other people, you say, talk about what to leave for Trnave or other universities. It's the growth that will happen is immense, personally and professionally.
And this is why we recorded this this interview. Thank you very much, Dan.
You're welcome,
and
Martin.
Ad multos annos, which means for many years forward. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.